Hello and welcome. I'm Orrin.
Cary.
And
we are the Skull Crawlers.
And we ask you to suspend disbelief. The show where we invite you to open your mind and expand your horizons as we discuss the paranormal, taboo, and otherwise mysterious occurrences in our universe. On tonight's episode, we are discussing all things Bigfoot.
That's Sasquatch, boys.
Yeah, Sasquatch for you layman's.
We have a very special show for you guys. We're very excited about this. And we have breaking news.
Breaking news, Bigfoot news.
Bigfoot news. This might change the
Bigfoot as you know it.
Bigfoot as you know it. This might possibly be the biggest cryptozoology news in a very long time. Maybe of our lifetime. We'll see.
All right. So, I'm going to bring this up real quick. All right. Over the weekend, a popular YouTuber by the name of Coyote Peterson was out in the woods of British Columbia forest, to be exact, and he discovered a supposed Bigfoot skull. Now, a little background on Coyote Peterson. He focuses on documenting and educating about wildlife. But what he's probably most known for is letting poisonous or venomous animals bite and or sting him. Like, this dude legit will put his hand and let scorpions sting him just to see the effect and how dangerous it is.
And this was for a TV show, right?
This is for YouTube.
This is just for YouTube?
This is just for YouTube. He does have Animal Planet show, but this is just for YouTube.
That's kind of brutal.
Yes.
Okay.
And the other thing about this guy is, by Peterson's own admission, he is not formally educated in any biological science and does not have any animal training. He is, in fact, a film student.
Okay.
And a film major and just does YouTube stuff.
Okay.
Getting bit by animals.
Yeah, right on.
So, let's see here. I will pull up the Facebook post that he wrote, and this was dated July 7th. Breaking news, leaking pics here before they are taken down and before government/officials try to seize our footage. Found a large primate skull in British Columbia. Filmed it, cut the footage, releasing on Brave Wilderness, which is his YouTube channel. This weekend. Have kept the secret for several weeks. Yes, I have the skull. It's currently in a secure location awaiting primatologist review.
Sweet.
Absolutely unreal. We thought it was a bear skull when we found it. I can 100% guarantee it is not. The skull was found partially buried underground in a deep back forest ravine after a massive storm in the Pacific Northwest, where clearly a bunch of trees and earth were disturbed.
Shut up.
I'm sure these pics will be taken down, as will probably the video by government or state park officials. But the skull is safe. I don't know if what you all think it might be, but I cannot explain finding a primate skull in the Pacific Northwest without worrying. What do you believe? And he has a couple pictures of the skull here.
Let me pull up that laptop. I need to see these pictures up close. I purposely avoided this news just so Orrin could teach me for the show.
Obviously, we'll put the pictures up for the video feed.
Okay, that is definitely a gorilla skull. And
finding it.
It 100% seems to be outside of anywhere that a gorilla would normally live. Looks exactly like the Pacific Northwest. I like his poncho. That's rad. Yeah, that's a gorilla skull, 100%. I mean, gorilla, could be...
Gorilla. Yeah, exactly.
It could be the skunk ape or... wow. Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Okay. So, this area of British Columbia is supposedly known to have numerous Bigfoot sightings.
Okay.
But there's been no concrete evidence, only hearsay, and this supposedly is the first thing, finding.
Other than, cast of footprints and stuff like that.
I don't think there's even been cast of footprints. It's just been sightings and
blurry photos.
Not even that. Just hearsay. I saw this and
Interesting.
Right. Now, the funny thing about this is, this was a tease for a video which he has released. I watched the video.
Okay.
And they 100% go to the forest with intent to find Bigfoot, because that area is like a tourist trap for Bigfoot sightings and whatnot. So after this initial post was made, it was quickly debunked online by multiple people.
Okay, explain.
Okay, so the skull you see, and the gorilla skull you see, used in the photos and the video, is a supposedly mass-produced gorilla skull that you can easily find on Etsy.
Son of a gun.
And I will show you that skull
Oh,
right now.
you have the link?
I have
Shut
the link.
up. This makes me so mad.
So,
That doesn't look anything like the other skull. No, that's completely different.
it's funny. In the video, see, there's that. Here's a view of the skull he finds. It's got like the same like details and shapes and like that rib.
No, it's way different. I call BS on it being that exact one. Could it be fake? Obviously. Is
that cast, you
same?
can find that.
Sure.
And I wish over the weekend I saw an Instagram post about this where supposedly a shop has this skull.
Uh-huh.
And in the video he picks up the skull, he's turning it around, and there's a like that size hole in it, and he claims it's a bullet hole. Like, oh, this could be a bullet where somebody shot it. And it's like, I saw the Instagram post, and it's like, oh yeah, that's just like a mass-produced like resin hole where every skull has that.
No.
So.
No, I hate that. No. Okay, now explain how it's real.
How it's real?
Yeah. Tell me why it's real as well.
I mean, it could be real. Who knows? I mean, it's
of a gun.
Of course, you want to believe Bigfoot, because there's nothing been concrete in recent years about Bigfoot or like. So yeah, of course.
I'm just saying that looks so real. I want to see this guy with a lie detector test. I want to see the test that they do on the skull from legit sources to say that it's
I do
authentic.
too, because the video he posted over the weekend, it's like 13 minutes, something like that. It's a part 1. So there's a part 2 where he has a skull, and I guess he gets it tested, and that might be coming up.
Gotcha.
So there's no confirm what it is. So it's still out there. It could be real, could be not, but there's a lot of evidence pointing that it's not real.
Son of a gun.
Yeah.
Well, that's very disappointing.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll have to do some more research on that.
You can
and watch
choose
the
to believe,
video.
but yeah.
But yeah, man, that stinks. Dang it.
It's all very interesting. I haven't researched too much. I've just been browsing and looked at articles, but I've seen a couple where noted scientists have like debunked and said, yeah, this isn't real. Like whatever. So, but yeah. So that's where
that's the end of it.
That's the end of it. That's my breaking news. My Bigfoot news.
Well, there's some Bigfoot news, guys. It might not be real after all. It might not be real after all. There might be some snakes out there putting out fake stuff,
some
fake
YouTube
bones.
guy wants to be YouTube famous.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And that is it for Bigfoot news. Could be real, could be fake. Who knows?
I would like to believe that Coyote Peterson is telling the truth. Because I want to believe in the good in people. Like, why would he want to swindle me? Like, I'm a good dude.
Yeah, why would he?
Yeah, dude. Did he not think about me specifically, who wants Bigfoot to be real so bad?
I mean, I feel like this sort of thing, like, he's already like a pretty like successful YouTube guy.
Yeah.
Like his videos get millions of views. So I feel like if you do something like this, it's kind of like a, break glass in case of emergency, like last ditch effort, like fake some Bigfoot news.
Sure.
So maybe it is real.
That would ruin your entire credibility and career, basically. If they find out that it's some edit skull, or some edit, what was it? What's the website? Etsy.
Yeah.
My bad. Skull.
Yeah.
And he planted it there, then he's done. No one's gonna believe him with anything.
This is like a Logan Paul and the Suicide Force thing.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I can't believe that he purposely faked the whole thing, but somebody might have gone out there messing with future people
that's true.
and buried it.
Yeah.
That is something that people could do because they suck.
Yeah. So there is that. That's our breaking Bigfoot news.
Well, son of a gun. All right. Well, on to my story. I've got an interesting one for you, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on it.
Okay.
To follow that desperate search playing out in Craven County this morning. This is what we were looking at yesterday. That's Chopper 11 HD as volunteers search through that terrain. What you're looking at now is a prayer vigil that was held at the New Haven Church there, where we are learning that Casey Hathaway, that's him right there, that missing 3-year-old boy, some of his family attends church there. We know Wednesday that around some 600 volunteers alongside of professional searchers walked the terrain near that home, and we know those volunteers were sent home overnight citing safety concerns. We know that they're going to reconvene with the volunteers this morning at 8 this morning. Meanwhile, searchers continue to look through the night for that 3-year-old boy. Casey went missing Tuesday afternoon from his grandma's backyard. We know that Casey is 2'4". He's 25 pounds. He has blonde hair and brown eyes. No doubt this is a story we will continue to follow throughout the day as hopefully those searchers and those volunteers find that missing 3-year-old boy.
Okay, so in 2019, a 3-year-old boy named Casey Hathaway went missing in the woods on a cold January afternoon. He was playing in his grandmother's yard on January 22nd in Ernall, North Carolina. He was with 2 other children he was related to, and his grandma noticed he wasn't with them when they returned inside. And when they went outside, he was gone, as if he'd vanished. For about 45 minutes, the grandmother and everyone else present searched in the immediate area by her house, resulting in nothing. After 45 minutes, she called 911. This is her call.
Okay.
January 22nd, 2019, 14 hours, 10 minutes, 15 seconds.
Craven County 911, where's your emergency? 200 Toller Road. 200 Toller Road? Yes. Okay, and what's going on there? We lost my 2-year-old grandson that's walked in the woods back there and we can't find him. 3-year-old grandson. Okay, so who's there with them?
Or did they put a filter on?
His little sister.
We're not going to use this audio.
Yeah, he's 3.
We're just going to cut to it being over after we put it in the
The
middle.
come to the house and left him there, and he's walked off somewhere, and we can't find him. Okay, but you're not there at the house now? I'm at the house, yeah. Okay, and how long ago do you know he walked in there? It's been at least 45 minutes, because we've been looking all in the woods for him. And it's behind your house? Is it directly behind your house? Yeah. Well, on the side, yeah. Is he a white, black? He's white. You know what he was wearing?
That's when they're like, everybody,
Probably a
let's
black
go.
little coat. A black coat? Yeah.
There's a missing kid out there that needs our help.
Does he usually do this? Huh? Does he usually do this? No. Was he wearing a pants? Yeah, he had pants. Was it Steve? Yeah, I think so. Okay. It's about 45 minutes to go? Yeah. Okay. Alright. Is it a big area of woods behind your house? Yeah, it's pretty big. I think you've been out there looking for him? Yeah.
All right. So, Sheriff Chip Hughes says Casey disappeared around 1:45 p.m. Within hours, there were dozens of people out to search. By that evening, hundreds of volunteers aided in the search for Casey. With the temperature dropping drastically, around mid to low 30s degree Fahrenheit, it was urgent to find the little boy and get him back home. His grandmother said he wasn't dressed for weather. Here's what he was wearing.
Sick.
Low-key looking fly. Yeah, he's got that drip. And honestly, I'd wear that whole outfit. He looks like he could run fast.
Yeah, are we sure that he's not the reason why it was so cold outside?
So ice cold.
You want to get this guy a mic stat. Yeah, he was ice cold, and he was bringing down the temp for sure. Alrighty. Okay, so he wasn't found that night. The woods around the house are especially thick, full of hills and swamps. By the next day, January 23rd, the FBI showed a peculiar interest in the case of the missing boy, which is somewhat unusual, as the FBI traditionally doesn't deal with missing people. By later,
like something like first 48, and that's when.
Yeah, first 48 hours are the most important for finding people, because after that, like, you know, it's statistically, like, not impossible, but, like, very unlikely that they're going to find somebody after that first 48 hours. By later that evening, a handful of Marines joined the FBI on the search.
Okay.
There were so many volunteers, they had to turn people away because they didn't know where to tell them to look, which is a good problem to have. Combing the area where they thought the missing boy might be, they had no luck. Even worse than that, the forecast showed rain that evening. By 9:30 p.m., he was still not located. Casey was only 2 foot 3 inches tall, 25 pounds. It was highly unlikely he would survive the night without food, water, and because he wasn't dressed appropriately. It's crazy that he was so small, being 3 years old, because my son, who is 9 months old, is about 25 pounds. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know how tall he is, but dang, that's wild. It was looking grim, so people started looking for other possibilities. His family was alarmed that there hadn't been an Amber Alert issued yet. He couldn't have gone this far. They thought he must have been abducted. However, the FBI found no signs of any abduction, so they refused to issue an Amber Alert. That night, it got below freezing for 11 hours straight, the coldest being 21 degrees around 1 a.m. Yeah, that's cold. Later the next afternoon, the police received a call from a woman walking her dog, saying she heard crying from a little boy in the woods. Having had other leads just like this one throughout the whole area, like the whole town, they searched the area. They found Casey tangled in thorns and vines a quarter of a mile away from his grandmother's house, which is not that far.
Yeah.
Most of the time, kids or people who wander, get lost in the woods, they're miles away because they get turned around and they just, whatever else. So he was not that far away, which is also strange that they hadn't found him at that point.
Like combing the area and like
exactly,
one
hundreds of people. He was alive, but not only was he alive, he was soaking wet, but he was still very tentative. As searchers warmed him up, he started going back to normal. He even smiled as soon as he saw his little sister. His parents say that by the time he got to the hospital, he was completely fine. And he even asked to watch Netflix.
The heck?
Which is a baller move. Go missing for 2 days in the woods and freezing. The first thing you want is some Netflix, man. Yeah, to catch up on your shows.
Come on.
Yeah. 3-year-old Casey survived more than 2 days straight in rigid temperatures without food or water. He had very few scratches on him. It's truly a miracle he survived without even catching hypothermia or frostbite. Very strange. Here's where it gets weird. His aunt posted on Facebook this. He said he hung out with a bear for 2 days. God sent him a friend to keep him safe. She insists. His mom went on record saying that he told her the exact same story. And she said, if that's what he says, then that's what happened. A 3-year-old. They were just grateful that he was home, no matter how it happened, which I get. Yeah. Like if he says some crazy story, you're like, you're probably making it up. Whatever. You're home. Does it matter? Not really. But say a bear took care of you for 2 days.
Yeah.
People are like, okay, whatever. I don't care.
I'd be out there like looking for this bear, or whatever.
Yeah, apparently they did. They like searched the area, and they're like,
really?
there hasn't been a bear sighted here in a long time.
Really?
Yeah, but this is North Carolina, so like very well, could be. I don't know.
Interesting.
So bear experts say wild bears are highly unlikely to treat humans this way.
Yeah.
Even small, helpless ones like Casey. Even if they it's very rare that they would think that
they ain't no Harambe, that's for sure.
Yeah, man, they ain't just dragging little kids through the mud.
No, protecting them.
Oh, that's right. I mean, maybe, I don't know. Even small, helpless ones like Casey, even though black bears are vegetarian, they still wouldn't have been as friendly towards him. Could the bear have been something other than a bear? No one can say for sure, but what we can generally agree on is that he was not alone. Whether the bear kept him warm, Sasquatch, or a person who had to drop him off in the middle of the woods, he was not alone. Here is a comment from a YouTube video that I watched, and it is pretty crazy.
Okay.
This person comments, I was part of the search that was searching for Casey. I live in New Bern, North Carolina. The whole search for Casey and a day or two after, the search was very strange. People who were searching kept mentioning that they had uneasy feelings in the woods, and then the weather almost immediately turned to crap hours after he went missing. The whole area is really strange. It's actually near the missing Roanoke colony went missing. It's less than 30 miles away. This place has always had a veil between something else. It was freezing outside every night he was gone. He was somewhere warm. Maybe not safe, but he was somewhere warm. He would have been dead otherwise. With the precipitation and the wind and cold, he would not have made it.
Sounds like he got banished to the upside down and
Yeah, he hid in his little outside fort. Yeah. It's possible.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are your theories on this?
I don't know what to think. Honestly, like the bear thing, like, yeah, that bear's gonna maul that kid.
Sure.
Like a bear just stumbles upon a kid, or leave it alone, whatever. So like for him to say, "Oh yeah, I hung out with bear for 2 days,"
Yeah.
like I don't know, like Bigfoot or just like
The popular theory,
some crazy dude living in the woods who or something. I don't know.
had a big beard or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that like the popular theory is that he obviously doesn't know what a Bigfoot looks like.
Yeah.
And he can't tell the difference between a bear and what a Bigfoot looks like.
is, yeah.
And so maybe a paternal
You said he's 3, right?
Sasquatch watched over him for a couple of days and put him somewhere where they knew that he'd be found.
Mm-hmm.
Which is just crazy to think about. But also, like, not uncommon for other, like, missing kid stories where they, like, say, like,
They're
a bear
gone
or a
or
hairy
show
man
up.
or
Oh,
whatever.
okay.
Say, like, they helped me find where I needed to go. Which surprisingly has happened quite a bit.
Yeah.
And this is just one of those stories. But this is very well documented, which is why I chose this story. Although he was super young, is not a very credible source.
Yeah.
I don't know. You never really know. Okay, so there is another theory that I have here.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of the third man factor effect?
No.
The third man factor effect is when somebody goes missing or they're in a lot of pain and they imagine somebody there. Like they literally invent somebody in their mind
Okay.
that helps them cope with the situation.
While they're just on autopilot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the examples is from a book called World War Z, which there's this. What's her job title in the book?
She was a cargo pilot.
That's right.
Or cargo plane pilot, and she crashes.
Mm-hmm.
So she's trying to radio in to find like a rendezvous point or whatever.
Yes.
And while the entire time she's on the radio, she's talking to somebody from dispatch, and they're like helping her through, get her through.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the story, it's like, oh yeah, there's nobody on dispatch.
Yeah.
Just you, like in your
Yeah. The battery was dead the whole time.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
That wasn't an actual twist, but they never found her call sign, like the person for that person.
Yeah.
So that is one example of that. Another example is this missing girl from Arkansas. She went missing for like 4 or 5 days. And she said a little girl with black hair named, I don't remember her name, told her exactly where to go and wait, and told her how to survive, and where to eat, where to find water, and like kept her company. They played games.
Yeah.
Apparently even the little girl had a flashlight as well. Yes. But there's no record of this little girl.
Yeah.
And they looked up like people who had died in the area over the past century, and there might have been one person who fit the description, so maybe it was a ghost. But more than likely it was she invented the friend in her head to help her cope with the situation.
Yeah.
So it's very possible that Casey imagined this cuddly teddy bear helping him get through this because his brain couldn't cope with the situation.
Yeah. Jeez. crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. And there are a lot of other examples of that as well. Like people seeing loved ones or like Jesus and stuff like that when they're dying and they need to find something to reach out for that can help them survive.
Yeah. It's just crazy to me that 100 people, FBI's involved, Marines are involved, they come to this area, find nothing, and then like a day later, he's found like a quarter mile away from where he went missing.
Yeah.
Like that's nuts.
It's very strange.
Yeah.
And the police officers and all the search and rescue people, they said that he couldn't have been there very long. So he must have been moving, but it took them like climbing through like a swamp, like waist high, and getting through all these thorns and stuff like that. It's like, how in the world could he have climbed to this place?
Yeah.
Like, how did he get here? Little kids are capable of so much. I know, because I got into, I don't know, all sorts of trouble when I was a kid. I was climbing on everything. But yeah, a 3-year-old. I don't know. It's very strange.
So to go back a little bit to the Coyote Peterson story.
Sure.
In that video, he talks about a couple like there are Bigfoot theories about how supposedly the Bigfoot creature or the mythology like it bounces around from like different locations. How there's no, is it one thing or is it a species that like we don't know about? One theory is, I don't know how many people believe in this, but that Bigfoot is like an interdimensional being and like that's in like hollowed out trees, that's like their portal and that's where they like their entrances and exits is. Like when you're in a forest, when you see like a hollowed out tree like struck by lightning, that's where Bigfoot has like entered through. It's like portal or gateway or whatever, like his little station.
Interesting.
And that's how it shows up in different forests.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. That's
a theory. I like that.
It is a theory, yeah.
Well, another theory is that instead of it just being a figment of his imagination, what if it was an angel? Because in the Bible, it's a lot of times angels present themselves as to someone as someone they would trust, someone trustworthy, handsome, you know. And also in the Bible, they say that we don't know what angels truly look like because it would frighten us so horribly. So maybe he did have a guardian angel, and it came in the form of him as a cuddly teddy bear as well, and helped him survive and told him exactly where he needed to go. But another crazy thing about the story is, like, they asked the kid, like, did you hear anybody calling for you? Because he wasn't very far away, and there's hundreds of people screaming his name. He said he never heard anybody.
Really?
Yeah. Very strange.
Yeah,
Could he have stumbled into a portal, like the Upside Down, you know, or some place in between space and time where he was just stuck until he found a way out, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Very strange, yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. So yeah, I don't know about the angel thing. I want to believe that some type of Bigfoot would come and save the day and keep the kids safe. But also, I mean,
you said that happens a lot where kids go missing and they see the same thing.
Yeah.
Like a hairy creature or a bear or something.
Like a bear saved them, you know. There are a handful of cases where that's what kids say. You know, again, might be the third man factor effect. We don't actually know. But that's going to do it for Casey Hathaway. He is alive and well today. I hope he doesn't have too much, you know, therapy or trauma to go through, you know.
When did this happen? 2019?
2019, yeah. Just a couple years ago.
Gotcha.
So, pretty wild.
Somebody should interview him when he's like, I don't know, a little bit older.
Yeah, see if he remembers anything.
Yeah.
All right.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, it's funny that you mentioned the Bigfoot interdimensional being theory. So I'm going to tell a story that my Uncle Frank told me a couple of weeks ago when we were at the powwow. And he was telling me that sort of by where our family land, Cat Springs, is at, when you've been there. Yeah. You know, it's kind of a wooded area, lots of hills and natural springs and creeks running through the area. It's Bigfoot country is what he calls it. And I was like, interesting, because I've never like seen or heard anything personally over there about Bigfoot, but I have heard a couple of stories. And the one that he told me is about the goat sabo, which is Kiowa for the Bigfoot spirit. Goat sabo. And he said over there south of Carnegie, this back in the 1960s, this medicine man and his wife, they bought this house, this kind of farmhouse, and it was on the top of a hill backed up by a creek, kind of like Hat Springs is. And she was like doing dishes one day, and they just bought this house, and she loved it. It was like her dream house. He was happy, she was happy, and she's doing dishes and sees something like in her backyard, and so she still got dishes in hand, and she goes out there to confront this person, and what she sees horrifies her so much she throws the dishes up in the air. They crash and hit the ground. She slams the door closed, and she runs to her husband, and she's like, there's a goat sabo outside. He's in our backyard. You need to get out there and tell him to leave. And he goes out there, and of course there's nothing there.
Yeah.
Why would there be, you know? And so he's like, it'll probably never come back. You don't have to worry about it. But she refused to even look out the windows for the back. Refused to go out the back door, anything like that for a whole week. And he was finally like, okay, I'll go talk to this Bigfoot spirit, and I'll make a deal with it.
Yeah.
And so he goes out the back, and he walks down the hill, and there's a creek. And he stands by the creek, and he looks around to see if he can see anything, but he doesn't see anything. So what he does, he starts talking to the creek, because that's where apparently the spirit kind of comes from, is the water. And so he talks to the creek in Kiowa, and he makes a deal with it. And he says, you have all like miles and miles to roam, but leave my backyard alone. Don't come into my backyard. Just stay away. You have all this other place. If you do that, I'll bring you food every day. So every time they have dinner at night, he makes a plate, and he goes and sets it down by the creek, and then they go and they eat, and then he never sees the Bigfoot again. So that's one thing like with Medicine Man, is that they're always like deals. Most of the time, you know, they're kind of like sneaky, and they can backfire on you and stuff like that. But that's, you know, one thing in Native culture is that you have to give like an offering to somebody as well. Yeah. And that was his offering, that he was just going to make dinner for them. And of course they would go back down there and all the food was gone. Yeah. You know, it could have been a raccoon or anything really eating the food. But what if, like, you know, the Bigfoot was like, thanks for dinner, you know? Yeah, 100%. Just like eating those chicken wings and, you know, Indian tacos and whatever else.
Yeah. I think that's the one thing I like most about these stories, or like stories you hear, is like, oh yeah, the thing will leave you alone if you just give it something. Like, you know, just make a deal and like, hey, here's this, we're good, just leave us alone. Yeah. Yeah. So
Kiowas definitely believe that like the Bigfoot, the goat sabo, is a spirit, and it's not a bad spirit. It is just a spirit, and that I guess like you can like leave tobacco for it and stuff like that, and it'll, you know, be good to you. So it's pretty interesting. I also heard a story, and this one is the exact opposite of what I just told you. It's an actual horror story. But this is an old urban legend. I heard this around the campfire when I was probably like 10 years old. But it stuck with me because I'd never heard anything like this, and I've never heard of another Bigfoot story like it. So believe if you will, you don't have to. But out near Carnegie, Bigfoot country, long time ago, this farmer had this whole plot of land, big barn, his little house, you know, like what's that dog in the cartoon? What's his name? Courage, yes. Okay. Just imagine Courage's house. Gotcha. Like, basically, this is nowhere, you know. And so it's nighttime. He's living by himself, and he looks out his window and he sees like something, like big black, just kind of walking by, and he's like, "What's that?" And he hears dogs start barking, crazy. So he goes outside, you know, with the shotgun. And he like doesn't see anything, and he stands there for a little bit, and he like goes back inside, and this dog starts barking again.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he hears the dog just quiet, and he goes back around his farm, and then he sees this black creature just straight up just eating his dog.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know if I believe that. I don't think Bigfoot is a carnivore by any means.
I mean,
Maybe it was a different hairy creature. Maybe it was the skinwalker of some kind. I don't know.
I mean, if Bigfoot is the missing link, like,
It's true.
we're not necessarily carnivores, but we eat meat and
That is
plants.
true.
So,
Yeah. That is true.
ugh.
Yeah, so that one definitely stuck with me because I'm like, I don't want to get eaten by Bigfoot. But yeah, that one definitely stuck with me.
Ugh.
So yeah, other theories about Bigfoot. Yeah, like apparently they've seen him at like Skinwalker Ranch and stuff like that, which is a hub for the paranormal.
Yeah.
Traditionally, they see UFOs and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and all these other anomalies. But to throw in Bigfoot in the mix, like for me, previously, before maybe like 2 years ago, I would have been like, if you have UFOs and Bigfoot in the same sentence, then all your credibility goes out the window.
Yeah.
And I feel a little bit different about it now,
Mhm.
and it's kind of hard to explain. But I don't know. Like I feel like southwestern Oklahoma, around Coyote Country and stuff like that. I personally do feel like that's a hub for the paranormal.
I mean, just based on the stories you've told so far,
Yeah.
we've got Bigfoot, we've got clown ghosts, we've got haunted roads. Like,
Yes, dude.
yeah, like, sounds like it.
Yeah, and so I think it might be some sort of, I don't know,
Just
like
confluence
hotspot.
of
Yeah,
weird
there's got to be
paranormal
something
energy.
with like the land, or
Yeah.
I don't know, like magnetic soil or something like that. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, the stories that I've heard, it's just, I don't know, it's just wild.
Yeah.
But I personally don't know how to feel about Bigfoot being an interdimensional being.
I feel like it's interesting, but I feel like that's too much. Like,
Yeah.
I want to believe in the common theory where Bigfoot is the missing link in the evolutionary chain, and like somewhere along the line, this just like something in between Homo sapien and whatever, Homo erectus or whatever. Like, he's like the middle combination of whatever, like just like this missing link who like for some reason is super large and hairy and just like, but isn't quite human.
Gotcha.
Like more gorilla-like.
Okay. So
Well,
you think Bigfoot is like a flesh and blood creature of some kind instead of being like a ghost of some kind?
Like I believe in Bigfoot in the same way I believe in the Loch Ness Monster. Like, the Loch Ness
Really?
Monster is just like, if it is real, it's like a freshwater, I don't remember the species, like plesiosaur or whatever. Like the dinosaurs that have a long neck or
The
whatever.
Lapras one.
Yeah. Yeah, the Lapras. But yeah, it's just like some ancient thing that's just like still living in a pocket somewhere. Like that's my theory, or like all ocean stuff like that. And like there's like so much of the ocean we don't know about. Like nobody knows what's down there.
Bigfoot maybe?
Bigfoot maybe, Atlantis maybe, Bigfoot
Okay.
from Atlantis. I don't know.
Okay. I'm trying to go there.
But yeah, like, I mean, that to me, a Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, like any creature is like more plausible because it's like a missing piece somewhere. Like, it fits like the description of these other animals that it possibly could be.
Sure.
So like, I believe in aliens as well, just because that makes sense, But like, I don't believe in like, he's an interdimensional being, and there's like portals all around everywhere that he hops in or whatever.
I don't know. Like, I don't know about the whole portals thing.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. That
Yeah.
sounds crazy. Unlike all the other stuff we talked about tonight.
I will say, like, learning that theory, like, that's the most interesting thing I've heard about. It's like rewriting the canon to fit what you've already found.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, there's these hollowed out trees. What if Bigfoot, whatever, that's his portal? And then like everybody starts believing that because it's like something you invent. Like it's neat, but I don't think it's very plausible.
Yeah. Some Indians think that Bigfoot is just shapeshifter. Same thing as like, you know, Skinwalker or Stigini. It's just like a person who can shapeshift into Bigfoot, or the other way around. Maybe Bigfoot can shapeshift into a person to disguise himself, so he can walk around and, you know, do whatever he needs to do, like
and I do
go
know
to town, get groceries, and
among other tribes, like Bigfoot is like a spirit type being. Like in Shawnee, we don't personally do this, but I was reading up what we believed in, and we believed in something called Messin. I think I'm saying it right. But it's like an Eastern Shawnee thing where at bread dance they'll have somebody dress up like kind of like Bigfoot. They'll wear like a fur, like bear suit and like a mask and like run around and like scare kids or whatever.
That's cool.
But like we don't do that at bread dance. So I'm like, I don't want to get.
Dude, I do the bread dance all the time, man. When I go to like Olive Garden and stuff like that, let's do that. I bring out the breadstick. Just saying.
Yeah, but yeah, I do know like Bigfoot is like this, you know, spirit thing or creature or a shapeshifter.
Yeah, but there's also like so many different cave systems throughout America, North America, that there absolutely could be people or things or a Bigfoot or multiple Bigfoot that live in those cave systems and come out and just eat vegetation or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, isn't like one of the theories, I don't know if it's really to Bigfoot, but like all national parks have like a connecting tunnel system thing?
Ooh, I don't know about that one.
That is a thing? Okay. Yeah.
That's why so many people go missing in national parks.
Yeah.
That's one of the theories, is that they get taken.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hollow Earth theory, anyone?
That's what I was supposed to say. That sounds like a Hollow Earth. Yeah, like maybe that's how Bigfoot gets around.
Yeah. Yo, that's crazy. But also, yeah, there's like so much of the Pacific Northwest that is not necessarily undiscovered, but unmonitored
that
all
and,
the
like,
time.
all of like Upper Canada and like, you know, that area. Like, yeah, I mean, even freaking the Ozarks and like near the
Yes, that too. And even it's not completely out of the realm of possibility to believe that a new species of, say, primate or whatever could be discovered today, living in some small place in you know, in some mountain area in the Pacific Northwest.
Or
because
maybe even like
in the 1950s there were rumors in Africa that like hairy men were coming and taking women away from villages, and they didn't even know that like gorillas existed back then, like at certain places. So like not everybody knew everything, and it's like that was like the 50s, you know. So it's completely possible. I think highly unlikely that is the case. I don't know, I think I might believe in the possibility of like a Yeti over the idea that a Bigfoot is just out there living like flesh and blood, just like being undiscovered. But who knows? I don't know.
No, because you would think like by now there would have been something if that's the case. Like if it is a species that we haven't discovered yet, like somebody would have found something, or there would have been some concrete evidence of here's a live one, here's one we captured, or whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, hey man, Coyote Peterson, you might have some. True. Yeah. Or dead one, but
it's true.
Yeah.
What other Bigfoot theories are there out there? Are you aware of any? Or Bigfoot stories, anything like that?
Not really. No.
There's this really good Bigfoot documentary.
I think I know what you're talking about. I think it's called Sightings.
Yeah, it's really bad, actually.
Yeah. You can find it on the internet. You have to find it. We're not going to tell you where to find it.
No, not at all. Yeah, for our listeners, our very first horror movie that we did back in 2016, it was called Sightings. It was a found footage documentary about us looking for Bigfoot, and we all get killed by Bigfoot. It was fun, but it's so bad I didn't even know how to hold a camera. But we lean into that because it's like, oh, it's found footage. Like, what? So that's why it looks terrible. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
It was a ton of fun prepping for it, watching movies, to prepare ourselves for it. It was just so much fun.
I think the funnest part of it was getting people to believe that we were actually hunting Bigfoot.
Yeah, that's true. For like 2 months, we gaslighted the world and made them believe that we were making a real documentary about Bigfoot and that we knew where we were going to find one. And people were like, Cary, can't wait for your documentary, man. Hope you find him. I'm like, I will. But also, I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah, how many people did you get that were disappointed, like, afterwards? When
Oh, man. A handful, for sure. Yeah. They're like, I was so disappointed when I saw the intro credits where it's saying that, you know, that you guys all died or something. I was like, I'm
And I
sorry.
saw you the next day. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah. It was fun. It
Yeah.
was fun.
Man, you can find it online if you really look hard.
Yeah, but you don't have to.
Yeah.
We have
We're not
other
gonna
really
link to
good
it.
short films on our YouTube channel that are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So watch those over and over again.
Yeah.
Subscribe. Those are rad. And we want to keep making movies like that. I'd love to have a rematch with a Bigfoot, though. In a,
Do like a
you know,
remake or
not a remake, but, you know, a completely different story of some kind.
Bigfoot.
Yeah, Bigfoot
Okay.
themed, Bigfoot centered
Yeah.
somehow, but it's got to be scary, you
Yeah.
know. So how do we do anything different than what we did before?
Found foot.
Okay, found footage,
with a
got
budget
it.
this time.
With a budget and some
Actual
experience,
production value.
a little production value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
To
don't
make
know.
it feel like a Bigfoot movie, but it's not Bigfoot. And that's the big one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think
What else you
that's- Yeah, I don't have any more Bigfoot news. I have, you know, just from what we've talked about. Like I said, the Coyote Peterson story
Mhm.
is still developing. It's not finished. Who knows? Could be real.
Well, I'm looking forward to it.
So I guess next episode, if anything more happens, we'll give a quick update before we continue on with that topic on the next episode. But I think I'll do it for tonight and for Bigfoot and the stories we've told tonight.
That's a wrap on tonight's Bigfoot stories.
Yes. What are we talking about next week or next episode?
Oh gosh.
What are we talking about next
don't
episode?
know. What do the people want to hear about? Let us know. We can dive into skinwalkers. We can dive into aliens or the Greys.
I would like to talk about UFOs. or
Okay.
aliens in
UFOs,
general.
aliens
Yeah.
in general. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is that one video that you showed me that is so incredibly horrifying of like the long, lanky gray. It's like crawling up on that guy's patio or whatever.
Oh yeah, that video's dope. Yes, yes.
That gave me nightmares.
Yeah.
I had to wear my brown pants for that one. Straight up.
Yes. Okay. So
That'll be a fun one. Also, we can talk about owls. We can talk about medicine men. We can talk about Steginis. Shapeshifters in general.
Yeah.
Deer woman. That's a big one. We can
Yeah.
talk about deer woman. Or just kind of whatever. Some missing 4-in-1 stories. I got a bunch of those, and I'm like, I need to tell Orrin about these.
okay. All right.
So
So I
yeah,
guess
I don't freaking know, brother.
we'll figure it out, and it'll be a surprise to you, as it will be a surprise to us on the next episode.
Yeah,
So,
but yeah, what do you think? What do you want to hear us talk about? Because
Yeah.
I'm curious. What do you guys think?
yeah, I guess we'll put this out when the first episode. We'll get some feedback and say what the people want to hear about.
Yeah, so comment that, please.
Yes, please.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We plan on
Please.
investing a lot of time into our channel, and
Yes,
it's super exciting.
yes.
Not just Suspend Disbelief or short films. We want to do a lot of other stuff as well. So
Mhm.
subscribe because you're going to want to see that stuff. That's going to
Yeah.
be rad and a lot of fun.
And tiny hint, but we may investigate the clown ghosts.
Did you just decide that?
I did just decide that. We might do it. I'm terrified of doing that, but we might do it.
Wow.
Talk about it.
You heard it here, folks.
We'll talk about it.
I literally asked him this morning. I was like, "Hey, I found the location where
Yeah, that's right,
those
yeah.
clown ghost sightings were." He said, "Good luck with that." And I said, "Chicken." But now he's on the spot. He said he'll do it. Confirmed.
Yeah,
100% confirmed.
Yeah. So it's,
And we're
it'll
gonna
be
go
a
look for a
discussion.
clown ghost, and we're gonna talk to some spirits, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't
Maybe,
know.
Maybe we'll see.
Yeah.
But that'll do it for tonight's episode of Suspend Disbelief.
Yes.
Thanks
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you to Dylan Eubanks of Black Cat Horror Productions for producing this whole thing.
Yes.
So
Couldn't have done it without him.
exactly. So that'll do it for us. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you have a good night.
Yes, have a good night. Go see Black Phone.
Yes.
It's a killer horror movie. I can't recommend it enough. Go see it, and let us know what you think about it. So, sweet action.